Before we begin, in the spirit of reconciliation and respect, the InkGuild acknowledges that we live, work, and play on the traditional Treaty 7 territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, the Kainai, and the Piikani nations, as well as the Stoney Nakoda and the Tsuut'ina nations. This territory is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. Finally, we acknowledge all Indigenous and non-Indigenous to honor and celebrate this territory alongside us. Hello, everybody. My name is Dean. Welcome back to the InkGuild Podcast and welcome to Season 6. I'm really going to try to...
Was I the only one that got Dean's voice really weird when he did the intro?
No, yeah.
Oh yeah,
I did
that too.
Okay,
Whoa.
cool.
What?
It wasn't just me. You were like, hey guys, it's Dean, and it was like all broken up and out of order. It was very weird.
Hey guys, Dean, season new. Welcome back.
I definitely will come through in the recording because Dean is just recording his voice.
What is that dinging?
How are you doing?
What?
There's a dinging in the thing. What is that dinging?
What digging? I'm not digging. What digging? I'm not digging into the earth right now.
Welcome back to the InkGuild, everybody.
Welcome back to the InkGuild Podcast, everybody.
I'm not searching for gold. This is a normal podcast setting that I'm in.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey there.
Bonjour. My name is Dean, and welcome back to the InkGuild Podcast. Just go to fucking therapy.
Don't correct me. I don't care.
Need to start a revolution.
I'm going to fucking explode if I don't say this by now.
She would challenge them to a double dutch.
I'm going to summon up his spirit to fix all of this up for me.
You didn't have good enough tea and or comic books, so.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it.
All of them are fucking idiots.
Simply everyone is taking cocaine.
Just say your morning routine.
You're replicant breathing.
I'm so excited to find out if Jughead got abducted by aliens or not.
Boneless.
Is your refrigerator running? Better go get it then.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dean. Welcome back to the InkGuild Podcast, and welcome to Season 6. Tonight, I have Alex.
Hello.
I have Gabe.
Hello.
And Brooke.
Hi.
Tonight, we're going to be talking about Arcane to kick off a new season for the InkGuild Podcast. Before we get into that straight away, I do want to kind of just give a quick layout for how this episode and how the rest of the season will work. So for tonight, we're going to be talking about Arcane. For many who know about the show by now, it is based off of League of Legends and is available on Netflix. It was a very big thing and a very surprising hit for me personally when I first saw it, but all of that aside, before we get into the actual discussion, right now I just want to quickly talk about how Season 6 will work. For many who have been part of this, or who have been part of the InkGuild for a while now, you kind of know that for the InkGuild Podcast specifically, we turn out 2 episodes a week. For this season, because to change things up and to see just how how that would be better for the podcasts, potentially maybe worse, I don't know yet, but we'll be doing 1 episode a week instead of 2 episodes a week. Every new episode of the InkGuild Podcast will be streaming, or will be available on YouTube and Spotify at 6 p.m. MST. And this first one is being uploaded and will be being uploaded on January 28th. Currently, it is January the 19th. So in 10 days, this episode will be live. And that goes for the rest of the season so that it prolongs the podcast's length, as well as gives me plenty of time to kind of make these podcasts a little bit more visually interesting on YouTube, at least. So for me, who's editing, flash up something right now. It doesn't. I don't know what yet. You guys want to make
Flash the audience.
not that, not doing that, not fucking doing that. I was gonna say, Alex, Gabe, do you guys want to tell editor me to do something? Because I don't know where the fuck Brooke came with that.
Put a cat on screen.
Just like a soda can?
Bonga cat.
I said a cat.
Oh, a cat.
Yeah, bonga cat.
Okay.
Bonga cat.
Yeah, bongo cat. Put a bongo cat, editor me.
Put up guillotine.
And guillotine chan. We need guillotine chan.
Yes,
Wanna
and
get some
guillotine.
guillotine?
I still need to talk to Georgia about like making Guillotine Chan our official mascot. Anyway, so all of that thing. So all of that's kind of like, you know, put out there. Let's start with Arcane. Let's get started with what we're going to be talking about tonight. So when I want to talk about our like first ideas and like, you know, what we were thinking before we first started the show. That is maybe the only, like I told, you know, these three beforehand, but that's maybe the only thing that I prepared for tonight, and where the discussion goes from here, I'm not sure yet. So yeah, I think for me, like my first impression of the show was that this could potentially be the League lore, like the League show that I've like wanted for a long time. And as is a common thing for some people who know what League of Legends is about, I wanted nothing to do with actual League of Legends, but the lore was pretty interesting. And I've always like kept a tab on it, whether it was from the cinematic trailers or like just the new characters being announced. I was always like, the lore from League is just so vibrant and interesting that I would have loved to have some kind of like Netflix series or movie, or maybe even just like regular shorts. And like when the first trailer dropped, I was like incredibly interested, because I was like, this could be it. This could be the thing that I've always wanted from League of Legends, without actually ever playing League of Legends, like ever. I think the other person that I knew that was like really excited for this, and I'll pass it off to him to talk about it. Gabe, what did you think when you first kind of found out about Arcane?
You think I was excited for it? I didn't tell you the story correctly. That was the opposite of what happened. When the knowledge of a League of Legends show first hit me, I was like stone face. Like I was like, I am not the League of Legends fan. In my family, my brother is a huge League of Legends fan. He plays League of Legends actively, and so like I remember one time he was over, we were having pizza, and he was like, "Hey, did you hear about the League of Legends show?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." Shut your mouth right now. And then like another time later, he came over and he was like, "Hey, Arcane said, do you want to watch it?" And I was like, "Fucking fine, I guess." And then I watched it and I was like, "Yo, I see why you like this shit. This is all right." And then that was my reaction by like minute 1 of episode 1. I was already like, I did a total 180 in my opinion of the show, not of League of Legends, but like in like my excitement to watch the show from there shot up, but it was not. I had no excitement prior to like starting it. I was just completely flabbergasted by how good it was.
Yeah, I hard agree on that. Like, I'll kind of maybe elaborate a little bit more on like my thoughts on the first episode afterwards. But yeah, I agree. Like, it in no way pushed me to like continue playing League, but by the end of the first episode, like, again, I'll specify more, but just I was like really excited, because my own expectation of like, you know, this could be it, and I'm like, yep, this is it. This is fucking it. So I think afterwards, like among us four, like the next person who I knew like eventually started Arcane was Brooke. I think that was you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you first, I had no knowledge of it coming out. It was like you suddenly Snapchatting me being like, damn, I'm so excited for Arcane. I was like, what the fuck is Arcane? But I didn't actually go look at what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You just started Snapchatting me about it, and I was like, okay, all right. And you're like, oh man, the music, awesome. I was like, okay, cool. And then I think it started popping up on my TikTok, and I was like, what this? I go watch, and then I watched it. And then I devolved into obsession. But I had no knowledge of it coming out, even though like I'm not like a fan of League of Legends. I definitely don't like the game, but I've played the game, and I know a smidge of the lore.
Yeah.
And like I'd watched a lot of the animatics without really realizing that I was watching them, because I just liked watching animation on YouTube, and they were always recommended because they're such high quality animations. So I watched like all of the League of Legends animations without realizing that it was League.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Yeah, just like, oh man, League of Legends is marketed by, I can't wait to like think. I definitely want to talk about just like what the fuck Riot does with their marketing. Just I really want to talk about that. Yeah, I really want to talk about that, but just like, yeah, you're right. Like the animatics for League, like just the media for League, and like especially, again, I won't specify right now, but just like, what the fuck is their marketing department? Gabe, I think you asked that too, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
like that's basically been my feel. Every time that I like engage a teensy amount with League stuff, I'm like, who the fuck is that Riot's marketing department? Like, I remember they did the KDA stuff a while back, and I was like, oh, really? League of Legends made a music video? What fresh hell is this gonna be? And then I listened to it, and I was like, oh, this is good. What the fuck?
So, the thing is, when the first KDA song came out, it kind of like popped up, and I watched it. And then I went to their channel and tried to find other songs. The rest of the stuff, horrible. Like the KDA stuff was the only music I could find that was good.
Mm-hmm.
I never listened to their other music, to other
It's
League
not
music.
good.
Yeah.
That's subjective. I listened to a few of the other League songs.
Okay.
Some of it is Imagine Dragons, and that's
okay. Alex, speaking of you, actually, so like, if we were going in like sequential order, like I was hyped up pretty early about Arcane, and I think maybe Gabe like was at about the same time. I didn't realize it was because of like my initial exposure, Brooke, that like then you eventually started watching Arcane. But like Alex, I knew for a long time you did not want to get on that.
Okay, so the thing is, I didn't know about it beforehand. The only time I've ever interacted with anything League of Legends is through KDA. Like that's the only thing I've like touched. So I don't have a generally good opinion of League of Legends. I don't know very much about it, but my opinion of it is not great. But I log on to Netflix one day, and I see this show, and it's League of Legends, and I'm like, not for me. Go watch something else. The next day, I like log on to Tumblr. It's fucking everywhere. Like everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. There's gift sets of it everywhere. All of a sudden, like all my friends are talking about it. Like, oh, this is the best show I've ever watched. It's so amazing. And my brain just like shut down. And I was like, I'm never going to watch this show. No. I refuse. And then one of my friends like was very persistent about like recommending it. Oh, you'll really, really enjoy it. And I finally just like snapped at them. I felt really bad because I could have done this a lot better. But we ended up having a conversation about like why I was feeling not like I didn't want to watch it. Mm-hmm. And then after I had that conversation, that like, I guess rebellious side of my brain kind of like chilled the fuck out. So then like a month after that, I finally watched it. And it was good. I still don't know if I agree that it's like the best thing that's ever been made, but it was good.
It's still coming from League. It's good. It's not great. Maybe season 2 might change that.
I will also say a big part of the reason that I finally broke down and started watching it was because I kept seeing gift sets of Mel. I will let that speak for itself.
I mean, you know what? Just fair enough. Yeah.
That is why I watched fucking Arcane. I saw the cupcake scene on TikTok and I was like, I have to watch this.
Oh my god. So
Thank you, Alex. You just made me remember that.
okay, so yeah, maybe that's the thing. Let's talk about like how, like what kind of
Just too gay.
kept us watching. That I think was like selling thing. That was selling me like big time. Like I didn't realize that at the time because I only watched, so like I watched the first 3 episodes, or like act 3 when it, you know, the first act when it came out, and I had to wait a little bit of, like I had to wait a bit of a while to like for the next season, and then I had to wait even a little bit longer because I eventually got Mari to start watching it with me. So when her and I were starting to watch it together, like we had no idea that there was even like gay in there. But that being said, the thing that kept me watching was just like, I think it had to be like the characterization of everything, of like the specific characters. Like there is so much character in like in Vi, in Powder, in like even their friends Milo and Clagger, like in Vander, in Ekko. Wonderful. Like I was like, these are some really fleshed out dynamic characters. And like that's just that's maybe just like the thing that kept it for me. Like obviously there's like the art style, the animation. Yeah. So if for Brooke and Alex, like one part of it was the women. Gabe, what about you? What is what's one thing that kind of like kept you watching?
Oh, episode 3.
Episode
3 completely. Well, because the thing was, I knew like from the first second that he stepped into the show that Vander was going to die. I was like, I saw Vander walk in and he did do like mentor stuff, and I was like, oh, he's gonna die. I've seen literally any story that has ever been written. This guy's going to die. And I knew Jinx and Powder would be like separated. So like those, but I think what episode 3 did that was crazy was it took those things, but it did them in such a way that still made it feel that it was like I was experiencing these tropes for the first time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like for those just those 20 minutes when I was seeing Vander die, the way, in the specific way that it happens, I was like, this doesn't feel like I had a That's So Raven moment to this happening. So it genuinely felt like it just new and exciting, and like, and I think it was the fact that episode 3 does a thing that I then went on to notice that Arcane does really, really well, which is like it does things sort of in the way that you would to predict that they would happen, but it also like dangles the actual like happy conflict resolution like right in front of you before gut punching you with the thing that you were expecting, and then like for a minute we're wishing were not happening. Like like it gives you Vander's death, but right before that it's like oh no, they got him, they unlocked the thing, Clagger broke down the wall, they were gonna get out, everything was gonna be fine, and then fuck you.
Okay, question.
Jinx'd.
Did Vander actually die? Because I've heard many people say he becomes a werewolf and doesn't die.
That's a theory.
There's a lot of stuff in Canada that's a lot of fans of the lore already knew going into the show. So when they were seeing like the new people watching Arcane being like, oh my god, Vander's not actually dead, they're all like, we knew that before you knew that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So technically, yes, no.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Alex, Brooke, what are some things that like kept you guys watching then? Because I said like thing, I like I kind of like jokingly said like, oh, it's the women, but like also that's a fair point. But yeah, like what is it that really kind of like kept you guys watching?
I mean, some of the men too.
Well, yeah.
But like genuinely, I think it was the art and like the character design. Like whenever there was like a new character that was on screen who was like important, I was immediately like, I love your design. Well, minus Jayce. We can ignore Jayce in like everything I ever say.
Who's Jayce?
But like,
who? He sounds like a dick. He
but
sounds like a piece of shit character.
But like, you know, Ekko is there. I mean, Jinx's design is amazing. Ekko's design is amazing. Vi looks amazing. Mel looks amazing. I'm gonna forget people's names. Viktor? Is his name Viktor?
Yeah,
Viktor. I like Viktor a lot too. He's really cool. And the old professor whose name I don't remember.
Heimerdinger.
Yeah, him. He's really fun. And there's also like fun characters with like cool designs. And the art was pretty.
Mm-hmm. Brooke, how about you?
Also, yeah.
I think on the first watch through, I was really confused right at the beginning with like the bridge scene. I had no idea who was the bad guys in that. Confused. I definitely thought Vanner was going to kill the girls at the beginning. So that kind of caught me, but then I kept watching. It was beautiful. I do really love that art style, that really dramatized features style and the emotions, especially that one scene where she's like, this is the face where you shut up. I love that scene specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it also starts off when they're like slightly older from that bridge scene with them doing the heist. And I was like, oh, fucking yeah. I love street rats and criminals and theft. This is my shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely enough just to get me into the show, and then I just loved everything about it. I will say that every time Jayce was on the screen, I was like, I don't fucking care about this part. Get me back to my girls and my boys. I loved Clagger so much. I don't know why. He was on screen, I was like, yeah, Clagger! Which made me so upset when, that third episode came around.
Yeah.
Oh. I also just remembered the other thing that I really, really liked was like the world building of it, because like you start off like after the opening scene, you start off in this like cool looking city, and they're like running around on the rooftops and stuff, and there's all this like steampunky tech stuff going on, and then they go to like the undercity or whatever, and it's all like it looks more like cyberpunky and stuff, and it's so cool. Just like the different aesthetics of the two parts of the city.
Yeah,
it was.
I agree. Like the contrasting
and the fashion.
Oh my god, the look of the entire world, like from Piltover and Zon, I think that's what it is. Yeah, Zon.
Yeah.
And like Alex said, like the costuming. Oh my fucking god, the costuming is like fantastic. And I think like there's so many like I was gonna say like there's so many like places that we can go off for conversation. And I mean the first two kind of things that I talked about, like what got us started, what kept us interested, like I think those were the only things that I kind of prepared for. So let's just kind of go off and talk. So where should we start?
Do we want to talk about how much we don't like Jayce, or are we just gonna?
Let's talk about how much we hate Jayce.
Let's talk about
I mean, we should start. Why don't we like Jayce? He's supposed to be a good character.
That's what I was thinking, because I was kind of confused a little bit. Before I finished watching the series, I was already kind of like seeing people like shitting on Jayce, like in particular on TikTok. Like there's that one chart, it's like what I would feed X characters from X series, right? And every single time I've seen it, when they did it with Arcane, they always fed Jayce shit. I haven't seen one where they fed him literal shit, but you know what? To each their own content, I guess. But I was confused for a long time. And then I just realized
it was a common thing. I thought it was just me.
We all hate Jayce.
Like I hate him now for sure.
He's like obese. Like what really nailed. I didn't like him beforehand for some reason. I didn't know exactly why, but that fucking scene being parallel with him finally having sex with Mel and Viktor fucking dying made me really hate him. I was so mad at the show for doing that. I was like, why would you put these two scenes together? I know it's good for contrast, but I fucking hate it. Disgusting.
Viktor deserves so much better. So much fucking better.
I mean, so too did the girl that was turned to ash.
You don't even know her name?
Her name is Sky.
Sky, yeah.
Say her name, Dean.
Say her name!
Say her name!
The girl who got turned to ash.
I'm sorry. I just kind of remember it as that one moment, but you know what? Just okay, fine.
Sky didn't die and make Viktor break out his Hoover vacuum for you to call her the girl who turned to ash.
Jesus Christ! I may have forgotten what her fucking name was, but Gabe, that's an injustice. Oh my god. Anyway. But yeah, like, I think, yeah, Brooke is right. I think maybe that's what solidified it for me. Like, I think, like, everything up, like, leading up to that, it's like, when he realized that his lab was being taken away and he lost his family, like, he lost, like, everything that he'd worked from. I'm like, oh, that sucks. And then, like, when he started gaining the favor of everyone, especially like the High Council, I already didn't like the High Council before then, but even then, like, I wasn't kind of like seeing into that yet. That was kind of cool. Like the partnership, I think that he and Mel were having at the time, I just kind of saw it as a partnership, and then they just blatantly had sex, and I'm like, okay, now I hate him, because then it's like just a complete abandonment of what his original intention was in the first place. It's like, dude, your friend is fucking dying. What are you doing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem.
Selfish character to me. He feels so selfish to me. I think that's why I didn't like him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like he said he cared about. I always want to call him Jacques, and I don't know why. Viktor. He was like,
best boy Jacques.
I don't know why. I always every time I see him, I'm like, you look like a Jacques, but his name is Viktor.
Isn't Jacques the name of the Uber Eats twink that Mel's mom orders when she arrives in Piltover?
He got a name? I didn't think he even got a
I
name.
don't think he had a name.
I also don't like that guy, but I know other people that are fine with him.
I didn't know people had an opinion on him. I just thought he was just like some guy.
People call him Howl.
Howl?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point was I felt like Jayce was like he got his start because of Viktor, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were working together, and that was like their whole thing. And then as soon as Mel shows interest in him, he just like, it felt like he just like abandoned Viktor. And like I know he like went back to him a couple times and tried to be supportive and stuff, but
yeah. But even then, it just
felt so selfish. Also,
yeah.
Every time Mel looked at him, at Jayce, I was like, girl, you can do so much better.
Hard agree. Just, I think that's kind of what it was. And yeah, I think, yeah, you're right about like the whole selfish thing. It's just like, I want to do it for the sake of Piltover. And I think I was kind of, so when I rewatched episode 4 recently, when he decided to like shut down the very thing that is helping Piltover kind of like succeed and stuff, I was like, something about this feels weird. I don't know how I feel about this, because like I get his intention of like, shit, there's this hex tech theft, or like there was the theft of the orbs, right? We have to shut everything down until we solve it. And then the council was stupidly like, no, we're in a boom period, don't do all this shit. So like, just, I think something about him still recommending that like you kind of shut down global trade at that point is like, what are you doing? Like, you can, I think like talking about it kind of helps me like it like initially maybe he thought about like the greater good, and then he was elected like counselor, and it's like, oh, now, okay, all right, now your piece of shit qualities are coming out.
When he got put onto the council, what I thought was going to happen was Heimerdinger was going to give him his seat, but then they brought out the other seat, and then he fucking booted Heimerdinger out later. I was like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah,
I know, it's
That's
fucked
not
up.
the way I wanted this to go.
Yeah.
He kicked out the donger. It was fucked up.
Also, this is completely irrelevant to like anything Jayce does in the show. But every time I see his face, I'm like, he just looks like Chris Pine, and
yeah.
and that ruins it for me a little bit too.
Darker ethnicity, Chris Pine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like the thing is, like I know his skin tone is like darker, but his face just looks like every white guy ever.
Mhm.
You know, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I got it.
Like,
I got it.
It's hard to call him like generic white boy when he's not white, but like
He just fits it.
Just
But they somehow made that happen, right?
Hollywood man. Let's just say that Hollywood man. He has the thing. I think like later on in the series too, when he was supposed to have his like cool moment where he like had the hammer, I was like, I don't care. Put that thing down. Go away. Just let Vi kick all the ass.
I wonder if he's gonna get his
Yeah.
name skin.
I personally like the giant hammer. I love big weapon fighting scenes. But yeah, I also didn't care about it. That was such a weird partnership, like a weird team up for them.
Yeah.
Not surprising it didn't last long.
No.
Wasn't supposed to, but it works.
Yeah.
Also, and then like, because that's the scene where like the kid dies or whatever, and
yeah,
Jayce
he
is
does
all-
war crimes.
Oh my god, children dying, and Vi's just like, dude, there's already children dying. You just
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
the worst.
And I was like, girl, go off.
A child died. So many children have died, Jayce. Yeah, but I did it.
Yeah.
You've always been
Responsible
doing it.
for
You just
others, I
didn't know.
promise.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe that's it. It's just like he's such a whiny like character who's not really
He feels like
aware of
shelter.
like thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the definition of privileged.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he came from not privilege. Like you saw him suffering with his mom in one of the early scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
but
they
like
got teleported by magic.
yeah.
Yeah, but even then, that's still like in
And then
Piltover.
but then he got some privilege juice, and he just fucking lost it.
Yeah.
He got lost in the sauce.
He got lost in the sauce.
Mhm. If we're talking about characters, we should I do want to talk about Viktor actually.
Oh,
He
please.
had like maybe one of the best scenes in the entire series, and that was when his after he had merged or something. I don't know. Yeah, like he had merged or something, so like his foot was all robotic and shit. When he
His design at the end is so cool.
Yeah. So like you guys know that scene where he was seen like running along the pier.
Yeah.
Coolest fucking thing ever. I like it's among their with my top favorite scenes in the entire series. Like that was wonderful. And like not even just not just that scene specifically, but like his backstory is like a very having to prove your worth kind of character, and like just being overtly kind and considerate, contrasting to Jayce's douchebaggery. Wonderful.
Well, that's the difference between because Jayce doesn't come from super privilege, but he still comes from Piltover. But Viktor actually comes from the Undercity. So there's that's the whole difference between how they interact with Piltover and how they have the privilege that they have as adults. It's Viktor actually came from dirt shit nothing, and Jayce was upper middle class.
Yeah, ultimately he still had he could still work with the academy. He still had a whole bunch of research funded to him. He was very sought after, and he was very highly regarded by Heimerdinger. Viktor was an assistant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still pretty high. He was the assistant dean.
True, yeah, but at the same time, just
But yes, Jayce was House Talus and under the patronage of a council member. So
yeah. What is
Not
the
the
thing that Viktor had to earn his position?
Yeah,
a lot more.
Yeah, and it's that
Yeah,
kind of
that guy's on a fucking next level grind set.
Yeah, that whole thing, that whole series of events though, where he I want to say merged. I don't think that's like the right term for it, but just like when when Sky died, I felt really bad because it's like, damn, he's like I hopefully he just doesn't go crazy with all of that like knowledge now. Because I was like, his character up until this point has just been like trying his hardest, and like he already lost someone, and I was like, oh fuck, this is a really good character. I don't want anything else happening to him.
Best boy.
Yeah. What other characters should we talk about? Like, should we talk about
Silco?
Let's talk about
Okay, yeah.
who?
Silco.
At least it's Sevika, and I got very excited.
Oh, that's the thing. Like, there's so many things. There are so many like.
There's a lot of characters. I know Sevika isn't technically that big of a player, but listen.
Listening.
Woo. Listen, I look at her and I'm like, okay, I will wear a collar for you. You can drag me around by a chain. I will grovel at your feet. Mommy?
Jesus Christ. Just like.
And then someone said she was like 6'4", and I was like, she's what? Oh my god.
Yeah, no, her character design is top tier.
She's fucking hot.
The arm is so cool also.
The arm is
And she's hot.
And she's hot. Yes.
Everyone's giving like everyone's like critiquing like the specifics, and Brooke is just over there swooning.
She's hot. Listen, her and Vi both just can grab me by the throat. But Vi gives more switch energy, while Sevika is just pure dom.
So,
I've said my piece.
No, right on.
Yeah, more power to you.
Elaborate on that. No.
Just, you don't ever have to validate your simping. We get it. It's all you. That being said, though, going into what Alex said, yeah, I love Sevika's design. It's so creative. Like, the arm especially is very like steampunk inspired, and that's cool as shit. Like, even when the shimmer's being like powering her, like you have a little bit of like the shimmer like as steam coming off, and that's like very steampunk inspired, and that's sick as hell.
You know what I love about Sevika, and like quite a few other characters, Sevika is a really prominent example of this. How like the whole reason this show exists is because like some producer at Riot was like, hey, if we make a League of Legends show and put a bunch of champion characters in it, we can get some gas into our fucking game. So I think it's dope as fuck that they put so much love and attention and detail into making characters who have nothing to do with the fucking game and are not in it in even the slightest. Like, Sevika's whole design and also like her fighting style is so well thought out and like in depth. I like right up until doing research for this episode, I just thought that she was a champion from the game, because I was like, that just makes sense. She does the shit that champion characters do. She's got a crazy design. She fights. She has abilities and shit. But no, she's just a character. She's just a character. It's fucking awesome.
Just for the show. Yeah.
I'd be genuinely surprised if like Riot doesn't capitalize on Sevika's like following, because
I think they got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, she's already like, her and Vi are basically the same champion. They can't have.
Oh, she got.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So Vi already fills that mold, even though Sevika is like slightly different because she has shimmer and a mechanical arm. Vi is basically the same.
I mean, yeah, true. Yeah, that's.
Well, Vi is like. I mean, I haven't played League of Legends, so like I'm just assuming Vi is like more tanky, I guess.
Yeah, she's hand-to-hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like Sevika could be more like, well, because she's got the sword and stuff. I feel like she could be more like, I don't know. She's got blade hand, so I don't really know how I don't know how League of Legends is played.
Well, it's still in very close contact. They just feel like the same role. Heimerdinger is a fucking bitch because he has long range and he's awful. I hate him in the game. He was always one of the worst to have on the opponent team. I was like, you motherfucker, get out of my face, you freaky furball.
I swear.
The donger brings fear.
He was awful. I didn't expect anything from him.
I thought for a second you were just about to start shitting on like Heimerdinger in the show too, and I'm like, hold the hell up, wait, don't you?
No. Oh, whoa, never. Oh my god, never.
Yeah, because like, it is okay. So, do you guys want to talk about Heimerdinger now? Because I also
let's talk about the donger.
Heimerdinger and Ekko.
He is such a kind character. Ekko. I love Heimerdinger. He is just like
so cool.
Yeah, like
I love how like he's introduced and. Okay, this is from the perspective of someone who didn't know shit about League of Legends beforehand. So, like, I'm assuming people who played the game, they knew who this guy was. But when I first watched the show, this guy came on, I was like, "Fucking excuse me."
I did it, and I knew who he was, but I went, "Fucking excuse me, Heimerdinger."
I was so confused. It was like this has been. I thought this was a people. I thought this was a people show. Mm-hmm. Who's this? Who's this little guy? What's he doing with his? What's he doing here? He's just a little guy. Is he allowed here? What's with this sassy lost child? And then like he opens his mouth to speak, and it doubles out. He's got like I am happy. Like
I am 320 years old.
He's not a joke. He's like. Just a really solid character who just talks like that and looks like that, which is just such an amazing juxtaposition.
Yeah,
my boy.
I love the little like thing. I like speaking on his introduction. I love the little nod to like his whole just existence. Like he peeks like it's a pan down to the door, and then he peeks in. He's tilting, and then he just like sways his head because his head is just like a little like bigger than his body. I love that. Like visual humor like that is just so creatively it's so creative and like so funny too. Because it's like you're right. I was like because I wasn't familiar with Heimerdinger at all. Right, like I had some exposure to like League's characters, but I had no idea that Heimerdinger was originally a champion. So I was like, oh, this is a really interesting character. Like it breaks up like the thing. It breaks up like the just
because everyone else looks like a normal person, and then
and then this fucking guy comes in. He's got a mustache, but then you look at the rest of him, and it's like he's all mustache.
That's true. The only alien-esque creatures that we had was just like a brief passing on the street of like some really tall species.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone else had just been like humans. Maybe
even like the one council member that was just that was just like a robot was still human.
Oh yeah. I mean, like that's like
he was later.
Yeah.
And then there's like the fish guy who Vi and Caitlyn go to in like the Undercity market.
Yeah.
I love how like there's just stuff. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming there's some crazy lore behind all of these guys, but like, for the purposes of the show, I love how like there is just guys who are just a big fish guy or a tiny dude who's all mustache or like a robot, and they're just kind of there. That we don't need to go into like a whole breakdown of why this guy's a robot. He's just a robot.
Yeah,
like my favorite guard in the Firelights, the purple guy. His name is Star.
Oh yeah, the purple guy with the ears.
Yeah,
he's got great proportions, and he's a father. Wow, we stand.
Oh my god! Speaking of the Firelights, then Ekko.
Ekko.
I really like
Ekko was the first character in the show that I like fell in love with a little bit. Like when when I started watching it and he was like introduced as like this cute kid with like this like puff of white hair or whatever, I was just like, I love his design. He's so cute. And then he was like such a sweetheart. He was really cool.
Yeah.
So
and then good character. Top tier.
Yeah,
I love Ekko's design. So they did not I have never seen a character design go as fucking hard as Ekko's.
I agree. Like,
older
have you guys
design.
seen like thing. Like,
have you seen the game?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was gonna say like the game version of
Oh, with
Ekko's
the mohawk?
hair. Yeah,
Yeah.
gross.
I'm gonna.
I
I'm
hate
I'm
the
gonna be
mohawk
honest.
so much.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I like. Yeah. The way his hair is in the show is oh my god, it's so fucking good.
Like it's not even thing. Like it's thing. It just like from what I've seen of like people who like have talked about like the change. Like it's more thing like the textured hair. Like for a black character, that was a really important thing to recognize. But even like especially then, it just looks sick as hell. Like the mohawk from the original design, no.
Yeah, he looks way better.
Yeah.
I think
What a man.
from what I've seen from like the original character designs, like this is just a little shit on League of Legends moment, but like I feel like they with every single character's design, they looked at it with the exception of Viktor, because Viktor looks nothing like his game counterpart. But like for the rest of them, it seems like they sort of like they looked at the character and they were like, okay, how do we take this like
And make
sort
it
of
gay.
and make it gay? Yeah, basically, like how do we give this some juice? Like they took like the essence of Ekko's design and we're like, okay, but let's give it a little juice. What happens if we give it a little juice? And then they give it a little juice, and it's a fucking significant improvement, but it still has like I can see the same sort of overall design philosophy, but it's just so much fucking better. And like I think I don't remember if we did this on podcast or if this was before, just because this is an hour ago. Time is fake. But like Vi's design in between the game and the show, it's like I can totally see where they were like they looked at Vi's original design and were like, okay, this is dog shit.
Yeah.
They were like, how do we take the male gaze out of this and put in the lesbian gaze instead?
I'd never actually seen Vi's game design until after I'd seen Arcane, so when I saw it, I was like, oh my, what is that?
It bothers me so goddamn much. Like there have been comparisons between like how she originally looked and like, cause there was that whole like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, there was that one like headshot of her where she had like I think like a lollipop in her mouth or something, and she was just kind of like looking off to the side. That is so inherently male gaze, and like in the show she just like has a better design completely across the entire board. Like it's less thing.
It's just so gay.
I think they also scaled down her face tattoo, which is an objectively good choice.
Yeah,
it looks nice.
That being said, like the actual like the emphasis on like the back tattoos, sick. I really enjoyed that.
I was actually so sad when she put the jacket on. I was like, girl.
Oh, also, I mean,
I want to see those arms and those tabs. What the hell?
Her arms. Holy shit! I was fucking jacked.
Like
all right, I guess we're talking about Vi.
I remember during her whole fight with Sevika, I was just like, bro, look at her fucking arms. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I need to do a 4-hour arm workout today.
Literally, me. I think she actually spurred on my arm workouts for like a solid month after I watched. Like,
I bet you both were working your own arms.
Yeah, after the episode, I was just like, okay, I need to. Oh wait, hang on. You were making you piece of shit. I was going to talk about bicep curls, but you were making a bad joke. You motherfucker.
I mean, you're right.
Am I wrong?
He's right, but he shouldn't say it.
Okay, so since we're talking about Vi, like specifically, just one of my favorite scenes from Vi was like the second fight between her and Sevika, and that one moment where she just like puts one of the gauntlets down, takes a drink, and then like throws the glass at her.
Oh, great!
Wonderful, loved it.
Great little moment.
Yeah. I love that they're both just chilling for a second, catching their breath.
Yeah. I love that, like, while she's getting a drink, Sevika is just
just chilling there. Yeah. She's catching her breath. She's taking the moment.
Yeah, I obviously have to acknowledge like the whole like you're hot cupcake thing. I was like, okay, this is okay. Yeah, this is Riot knows who the hell they're marketing this audience to. Good on them. Like they know their audience, and they're being like not thing. They're not being like creepy or gross about it either. It's just like
they know their audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Mel
What's
and
it gonna
Jayce
be?
still happen.
Yeah.
Man or woman? Listen, it still makes sense why that happened. I'm just mad that they didn't.
Yeah, no, same.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Mel is still gorgeous, but I'm pissed at her.
I'm not.
She's manipulative, but also go queen, girl boss.
She is manipulative.
Yeah, girl boss.
Gatekeep.
That's like part of what makes her hot. I don't know.
Anyway, Vi, I have to fucking mention that besides her steamy hot looks and her awesome fucking rippling biceps, she's just a massive goddamn softie. And I love that they keep saying it throughout the show, just like, you have a good heart. It's like, she is. She goes for the hug first with fucking everyone. She's strong, but she's soft. She's soft girl. She's so pure and loving.
Yeah. The one moment that solidifies for me is when when her and Caitlyn are on Caitlyn's bed, and then like Caitlyn reaches over to, just like offer her hand, and then Vi takes it and then just brings it closer. I was like, yeah, I agree. Like Vi is such like a really good fucking character. Like her and Jinx, obviously, and the discourse around Jinx is gonna be really fun. But just I think like between her and Jinx, I think I prefer like Vi a little bit more. Like it's thing. Like I like Vi's characterization like a lot. I think, yeah. I like Vi's characterization like a lot.
I'm like I'm into the Caitlyn Vi stuff, obviously, but like it felt kind of rushed to me a little bit.
I agree.
It's not as rushed as fucking Mel Jayce.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But it still felt a little rushed to me. Where I was just like, really? Vi, you trust her already? You've known her like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I'm happy.
I mean, they got vibes. I think they like, for the amount of time they had, I thought they paced their relationship out decently. Like,
I agree with Alex though. Like I would have wanted like maybe if the story had played out over a few more days, it would make sense for their relationship to like for everything to just be so sudden in like a couple of hours. If they did that like over the course of a couple days, I would like, okay, this makes sense. But like, yeah, like within like the few hours,
they're busy. They had shit to do.
Yeah.
But like, okay, but they didn't actually like solidify anything. Like it's implied that they have feelings for each other, but they didn't do anything romantic. They didn't push that agenda.
Yeah.
They had like moments TM, but they never. There was no like. But they definitely had moments. But like, I don't feel like it went too fast because like they didn't like. Yeah, exactly. They didn't go all the way in the same way that Bella and Jayce did.
Yeah.
But like,
and like, just yeah, I think like with the sequence of events though, it's like what they meet in the prison, and then like their first real big kind of like coming together moment, I think was like in the brothel. Is that how you would say
Yes.
it? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like that's just
How would
flirting.
you say it, Dean?
I don't know if
It's a
there was like
brothel.
some other kind of term for it. Like I thought it was a brothel, but like maybe it's some.
I think brothel is the term for it.
Okay, so yeah,
It's a brothel. Move on.
All right, so it's a brothel. So like at the brothel with the whole like your hot cupcake thing, like that kind of like.
Are we gonna talk about that scene also? Because like, I know a lot of my friends really disliked that scene.
Wait, why?
Why?
Because it felt really like the way I had it put to me is that every other scene in the show had a purpose except for that one, and it felt like very fan servicey.
What?
I don't know if it felt. What I will say is that I was so distracted by that moment that I completely forgot the purpose of that scene, and to this day have still not remembered. I don't know what they're actually doing. I don't know what they're actually. I know she's there to get information on Sevika, but like,
yeah,
You got it. Purpose.
yeah. I think
That's the fucking purpose, and she gets it.
But what I lost was was like what Vi was telling Caitlyn to do. There was were they distracting people? What was going on there? But I don't care.
I think
Yeah,
maybe
I
the intention is because, and this is how I kind of think about it now. Like Vi had to go speak to like the owner of the brothel. Caitlyn was not ever going to leave like her side, so Vi needed a way to get like to distract Caitlyn. So that's why she like had her all flustered, and then like had her talk to that one other guy because she was just so like flustered at that point. And so Vi could then speak to the owner of the brothel and get the information on Sevika, and then when she was done, it was whatever. So basically, I think the whole point of that was to just like
Get rid of her.
Get rid of her. Yeah.
When Caitlyn chased her down.
Yeah.
Because Vi literally left her after that, and she had to find her again, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vi literally left. She was because
Vi left and then
only released her to go get information and bring her to the Undercity.
Yeah.
So she told her, like, I'm not going to do everything for you. You have to find information here yourself. So she's like, you have to pretend to work here, and then you can get information out of people. So she just left Caitlyn to do her own fucking searching while she went to go have beef with Sevika. But then Caitlyn was like, where the fuck did that bitch go? And then she went and found her and was like, saved your life. You got to give me a kiss now.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went down.
Yeah.
And I
think
but yeah, like there's a lot of like, well, and I was watching a bit of episode 7. I was watching a bit of episode 7 where they're in Ekko's hidey hole, the Firelight's tree, and like I feel like what I like about their relationship is that it's sort of, this is a weird comparison. It's sort of like the way that I felt about like how the Clone Wars did like Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship, where it's like, now I'm not suggesting those two are crossing swords, but like where like they have like camaraderie definitely in there, but like I still felt like it wasn't until even episode 8 when Vi and Caitlyn got back to Piltover and before they went to meet with the council that like they were like totally like bonded. Like I still feel like there was a lot of like contention between the two of them, like over.
Yeah, that's true.
And like they had disagreements, but it never felt like they were going back and forth between very black and white emotions. I felt like that like it was a very natural progression of their relationship where they started out, they were on the fence with each other. They started warming to each other, but then they still have their spat up until like the tail end of episode 7.
Yeah.
And then by then, like, you know, trust has happened, some gay has happened, and now they're tight. They're good. They're chill.
I think like characterized as very warm, caring people, so of course they're going to warm and care for each other very quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, just I think onto Caitlyn too, or like to maybe talk about like Caitlyn for a little bit, like considering like how she is and like how she's been characterized, like it would kind of make sense that like after being, I don't want to say like alone like for a lot, but like she really is shown kind of like things. She really is shown as like either like the protege of, or like the protege, like some, like she was helping Jayce out for a little bit, and they were kind of friends on and off, but like really that's the only kind of like prominent friendship or like connection that she has. Like she has like back and forth with her parents, like she talks with her parents obviously, but it's not, to me it never really felt like a very strong connection. It's like one of those like relationships where like you're a Kiraman, Caitlyn, you have a lot of expectation to like uphold and stuff, and
I feel like she loved her mom.
Yeah,
loved in the past tense.
Yeah. Christ. Oh no.
It's kind of hard to contact people when you're in prison. What, you doing on parents?
Jeez.
Fucking Christ, Gabe. So, anyway, like, I think, like, the reason why, like, it was easy for me to buy into, like, Vi and Caitlyn being so, close is because like
They didn't have anyone else.
Yeah, like she even had things. She even like Caitlyn for a time, like in that one scene where she was like going like gun to gun against that one. I forget what her name is, but like she was one of the Piltover guards before she was
Grayson.
Yeah. So like even then, that was only like a short interaction. Like Vi and Caitlyn, or like Caitlyn's exposure to Vi for quite a bit of time actually, and especially after everything that they've been through together, like a lot of it was like very high intensity, like needing to trust each other moments. Like I can completely buy like Vi and like Caitlyn like seeing something in Vi like that quickly.
Okay, no, the thing was I could see Caitlyn seeing something in Vi that quickly because that fit for her. For Vi, it felt more forced for me.
Yeah.
But I also think that might have just been like Caitlyn as a character didn't really stand out to me. So that might be part of it.
Yeah, like I really like Caitlyn's character, but at the same time, like I
don't dislike her. I just think there's so many more interesting characters.
I agree. Like when you compare Caitlyn to Vi, like Caitlyn is a strong presence, but like Vi has more fleshed out characteristics. Like you kind of know Caitlyn is like a very confident character, like, you know, knows and trusts in her abilities, is caring, comes from a place of like immense privilege, but is still wanting to do like not necessarily that work. Like she wants to do her own thing. Like and that already is pretty strong. Like that already is like good characterization already, but at the same time, like with like we had been following Vi, I think what makes Vi like a stronger character for me is just because most of the first act, where they were all children, or at least all younger, like a lot of time was spent on like Vi and Powder and all of that, right? Like Caitlyn, you didn't really like get much interaction with, which if there had been like a little bit more of an emphasis on what Caitlyn was doing, or like even if you just got to know Caitlyn like a little bit more during Act 1, basically, I feel like I would have like a stronger attachment to her compared to Vi.
Maybe, but I feel like what really worked about Act 1 was that like it like this is something that I have in my huge Google Doc file of like shit to talk about in this episode. But like one of the things is that like this show is dealing with like the bane of pacing, which is that this show has a fuck ton of characters. There are like and so I feel like what this show does really well is that it knows it like with like razor sharp accuracy, it pinpoints like the exact amount that it needs to like hone in on certain characters to like give them some backstory, give them some characterization, give them some development, but without bloating it and without making like each of the characters are still memorable. And I never felt like, because like okay, I mean, the radical and unprecedented Gabe take and talk shit on Game of Thrones for a second, but like, one of the things that I fucking hate about Game of Thrones, not I guess came to hate, was that Game of Thrones suffers immensely from bloat, where it's just like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? Is this Rob? Is this Bronn? Is this Bran? Is this Brom? Those are all four characters in that fucking show, and I can't tell who's who. Oh, is this another dark-haired man who's slightly angry and brooding because he has a dark backstory? Oh, whoa, I better remember his name. That sounds exactly like everyone else's. But so I think what Arcane did really well in its first act was it gave you like pretty much honed in on just Vi and Powder, and then like did some stuff with Jayce and Viktor in the background, did a little bit with Silco in the background, introduced Caitlyn and Sevika and a few others just to be like, they're here, they're afoot, but like, so I think like yeah, obviously I probably would have made Caitlyn feel like more of a bigger presence if she had more characterization, but I feel like it would have also messed with like it would have totally messed with the pacing had like we had a big introduction to Caitlyn before we had a bigger introduction to Caitlyn.
I agree. Like, I think that's maybe, like, me personally wanting more of a character for Caitlyn. I think that's definitely going to happen in season 2 because, yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, because you're right. She loved her mom. Past tense. So, I think, like, yeah, I'm just excited for, like, Caitlyn's character. Because, like, now that, like, Vi and Caitlyn definitely do have that relationship, like, solidified after everything that they've been through. Like, I could totally see, like, not necessarily Vi now taking Vi taking a back seat, because, like, you know, obviously you have to deal with the ramifications of your own fucking sister blowing up the council. But at the same time, like, how is Caitlyn going to manage that relationship? Because, like, she now knows that, like, Vi and Jinx are siblings. So, like, the conflict there is going to be really interesting to explore.
Well, and not even just that, but also just like the impending war that's gonna just fucking erupt as a result of the council getting nuked.
Yeah.
But speaking of blowing up the council, can we talk about Jinx?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
We're getting around to Jinx.
I feel like it's weird we haven't talked about Jinx yet.
I think it was perfect that we were kind of leading up to like this really pivotal point. Like, she is, in all regards, like the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also think she's like the best. Like, she's the character I was always excited to see the most.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously everyone has their own different favorite characters, but she was like the character that I thought had the most interesting story throughout the show. Fucking heartbreaking story, but like a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, speaking of like changes made from like the game to the show, I felt like Jinx was a character who I was just when I knew that this show was going to have Jinx in it, I was like I was prepared to just be like so annoyed every time she was on screen, because like, and maybe this will be a hot take because I know people really like game Jinx, but I think in the marketing stuff that I've seen for Jinx, that version of Jinx is like the most annoying character I've ever seen. It's maybe not I've ever seen, but like in a lot of the marketing stuff, I'm like, oh, someone read a Harley Quinn comic recently.
People have complained about the depiction of Jinx in Arcane because she's a lot more traumatized, because game Jinx has just been like really just crazy kooky happy girl. Like, she's like just doing her own shit because she can do her own shit, and this is,
but like,
she still has a lot of chaotic crazy energy, but now it's just really,
it's just sad.
Yeah.
So like, I get it.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I love just what they've done with Jinx's character. It is a lot of trauma, and because I have a better understanding of this now, I can see it. Mari told me that she feels and is like thoroughly like convinced that Jinx is BPD coded, and kind of,
oh, absolutely,
yeah. So there were like, it's clear as day now for me, because are you guys aware of like the symptoms associated with BPD or no? Because
yeah, I've seen breakdowns of that on her.
Yeah. So to quickly break it down for those who aren't familiar with the 9 symptoms surrounding BPD, I have a quick list from Google. So there are 9 associated with symptoms: an unclear or shifting self-image, unstable interpersonal relationships, mood swings, impulsive and self-destructive behavior, fear of rejection or abandonment, self-harm and suicidal tendencies, explosive rage, feelings of emptiness, and a loss of touch with reality. And like, after like a lot of like the symptoms associated with BPD2 come with a lot of like it like there are many reasons as to why, like chemical imbalance, childhood trauma, and that really does fit Jinx perfectly. Like, you know, obviously with what happened at the factory, just that is a lot of trauma for her. And even before then, like the constant ridicule and bullying from Milo, she hadn't forgotten that. And all of that like emotional weight just helps you invest in just Jinx's like development, I think. Like she easily has like the strongest characterization and story arc personally. Like I may love Vi a lot as a character, but like Jinx just has like the stronger story because of just her essentially being like the central character, like Gabe said. Like she's the one who's marketed like things. She has like in some of the Netflix like thing, like it's her sitting in the Jinx chair, like with her pistol in her hand. Like
that scene made me cry.
Yeah.
Her whole character was just so I was just so sad every time she was, and like that was a thing I really liked about the show. It took a character archetype that I really don't love in fiction, which is like haha, I'm the Joker. And made it like it was just so sad every time she was on screen. I was just like, Jesus Christ. Oh my, she needs some help. Oh my god. At the
same time, you like get these like glimpses of her being happy and like doing stuff she likes, and
anytime she's like tinkering,
mm-hmm.
and she's so happy, and you're just like, I want that for you. I want you to be able to be like that.
Yeah, it's painful watching like some of the early Act 1 stuff where she's there smiling with like Vi, because knowing what happens to her too, it's just like awful to see, because then her like a lot of like in her reintroduction, quote unquote, in like at the beginning of Act 2 in episode 4, when she is shown and she takes that one firelight by the hand, knocks the mask over, and is reminded of Vi, like seeing all of that like distorted with like the scribbled in like artwork and stuff, it's heartbreaking. It's so like the visual thing, like the visual addition, like the visual art that they did alongside Jinx's how do you say it, like episodes, like flashbacks, like it's hard, like a thing, it adds so much to like just how Jinx sees everything.
Yeah. A good character.
Yeah. I will say like the whole final scene, or like the whole final sequence in Act 1 where the monkey bomb was deployed was incredible stuff. Like with every clack of the
the editing
thing. Yeah, the editing, and just some big shit happening between every single one. That is so cool.
That was such a good way to show that. That was such a clever way. The show is so full of like clever editing moments where it's just like it does something, and it's like this scene could have been done in the most like boring, uninteresting way possible, but it's edited in such a fun and like unique way,
mm-hmm.
and it's also usually animated in a fucking spectacular way too. So it's just, this show's so fucking clever.
Mm-hmm. Like another instance for me is when I think like the interactions between like Vi, Caitlyn, and Jinx. Like I think the first time that like
I made a snack.
Yeah, like that too. I'll get to that after. But like when Jinx pops the signal torch thing. Yeah. And like Vi meets her up there. It's like, it's a very sweet moment. And then as soon as she sees Caitlyn, like the mood instantly shifts, and she is incredibly angry. And that plays into like not just the BPD symptoms that have been coded towards her character, but just like the natural reaction to like being with a loved one, but not knowing who the hell this other person is. Like
just like the mistrust that was sewn in by Sevika, because Sevika ended up being right, but she thought Sevika was lying.
Yeah.
You know what I fucking love about that scene?
What do you fucking love about that scene?
What I fucking love about that scene is
Yeah.
that is that like I'm plagiarizing this opinion from a TikTok I saw. Full disclosure, but because he phrased it better. But like I loved how like that scene opened, and this is again is the thing that the show does, where it's like takes the thing that you're like predicting, and then it's like, haha, I'm gonna fuck with that a little bit, because it's like you see her pop the flare open, and naturally I'm like okay, I've engaged with fiction before. This is going to be the scene where she pops the flare, and then Vi doesn't come, and she's super sad, and then like she's gonna like see Vi or something, and she's gonna be super mad. But then Vi just shows up. She just shows up, and I was like, what the fuck's gonna happen now?
Yeah. That being said, like, to kind of talk about like the final, or like the finale in like Act 3, that was such a big culmination of like all of the main story arcs. Like I love like thinking about the scene, because it's, you know, it's the one where like Vi is captured, Silco's captured, and then Jinx is the one in control leading everything. Like everything about that scene has such great character work there. Like the visual design, like the visuals of it all too, like the table being set up as like a giant tea party. Like I think specifically when, like, as soon as Jinx gets Pow Pow back and Silco starts saying like things, Silco is like finish the job, and then like Vi is still referring to Jinx as powder. Like I think, like, to quote another TikTok, like the disconnect that Vi had in that moment, like referring to like Milo and Clagger, to kind of like wake Jinx up is such good work, because like, as a couple of TikToks have said, Vi thinks and fully believes that she's doing the right thing there, which is heartbreaking, because she doesn't because like she to Vi, those are like precious memories for her, but to Jinx it's the trauma. And so you have all of the
no, she hasn't seen her in years.
Yeah. So like the respective like demons, like that were like one thing, like artistically incredible to watch, like just crowd around and like essentially traumatize Jinx even more with like just the framing of that one scene is incredible. Like, and then, you know, I don't want to think, I like, everyone kind of knows what scene I'm talking about. So yeah, in terms of like what we've been talking about, like, what do you guys think on that scene? Because Alex, you said that you cried.
It was like, because Vi was trying so hard to get through to her, and like, and fucking Silco was also trying to get through to her, and she had like these two people that she really cared about, and both of them were like trying to care about her, and then fucking Silco like dies, and then Jinx is just like goes and sits in the chair, and you're just like,
oh, she's gone.
Yeah,
it's over. Like, Vi can't get her sister back anymore, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like that relationship between them is just like gone, and like there's no chance of it coming back.
Yeah.
That's fucking heartbreaking, because like Vi's whole arc at this point has been, like, in this part of the story, has been trying to find out what happened to her sister.
Yeah.
And like reunite with her, and she just lost that chance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so like devastating, because like really, like she thought that she was doing good. Like she was fully convinced that like reminding her of the past with, like, you know, their old friends and like their surrogate father, like it, like reminding, like it's just like looking back on like better times. But the thing is, like, when you understand the fact that like Jinx has been traumatized from that, and the way that it affects her, it's just a really nice way of like showing just how different not only Jinx is now, but like just how different those two, like just how different those two sisters are, and it's
and how
wonderful.
their lives have been, yeah.
Yeah. Just, I don't think we talked about Silco at all, have we?
No.
No.
What a man!
Yeah.
What a man!
What a fucking guy.
His design is also honestly really cool.
I love how he shows up and he's got like the face cut, whatever it's called, a scar, and
You got the face cut.
and he's such like a. His design fucking goes hard too. He's got a great villain design, but I love how like then he starts talking about shit, and I'm like, hey, is this guy right?
And like that's the thing. Like I love when like a piece of work recognizes its villain as a villain, but still like thing. It's the whole like like I was fully convinced that like they were probably gonna make him like anti-hero-ish, but the whole like I want to make the nation of Zon together and shit, and there was gonna be like some kind of thing there that was going to try and like redeem him, but no, he's just a fucking dick. Like,
you know what I love about him is that like he's a dick and a villain. I'm not gonna say anything that contradicts that. But what I love about him is that he doesn't have like the Killmonger moment or that shit that like a lot of mainstream like sympathetic quote unquote villains do.
Yeah.
Where it's like where you can tell someone in the writer room like, oh no, we made our villain too sympathetic. We need to have him do something wildly uncharacteristic and cartoonishly evil to remind the audience that he's a villain.
What I also liked is that like, well, his relationship with Jinx. Like I thought it was a really good, like the way, because he went after Vander for like getting attached or whatever at the beginning, and then he ended up raising Jinx, and it's just like, well, now I know what it's like to have a daughter. Yes, a daughter. I've seen you people shipping them, and that's gross.
Yeah, fuck whoever does that. You're gross.
But like
whoever ships Silco and Jinx, you're lower than Jayce to be.
Well, just what you really said, it's intentional that you're supposed to be uncomfortable in the scenes between them. It was intentional.
Yeah.
People were like, I think that means that they love each other. It's like, fuck off, you're disgusting.
No, they don't. No, they just have weird boundaries. But
yeah,
it made me, honestly, when I watched it, it just made me think very much of a very young child. Very young children don't have personal space. They will crawl in your lap, right up into your goddamn face. That's what made me think when I was watching the scenes. I was like, damn, that's just showing that she's not developed well. Yeah. And then people were like, it's just sexually charged. I was like, what are you talking about?
Like, it's really not. I promise, it's really not.
Yeah.
But the relationship as like a father-daughter duo was just really interesting. Like, because it's not healthy, but it's also like it's not like Silco is really horrible and abusive to her either.
He's encouraging her in his weird, twisted way.
Yeah, it's like not a healthy relationship, but it's like really fascinating.
Yeah, like I've seen discourse about like it was just Silco thing. It was just like Silco, like having this like incredibly useful asset at his side all the time. But at the same time, there's also discourse that I agree with, where it's like there actually was some genuine, like love and thing, like love for a daughter there, and that just makes like I think going on like the whole like not necessarily like because
it's got layers
with what Brooke said about like I think like not knowing any better, just I think after again going back to the whole like BPD coding thing, like people with BPD, like I and again I don't want to speak, but from what I know about it, like as soon as they find that one person that they're very like close with and they have a strong like connection with, then they'll pretty much like obsess over that person. They're willing to do just about anything. And I think at that point too, like it's unfortunate because it's like Silco's values may have been like he may have like try to find a way to justify it, but it was still like evil intentions. And Jinx doesn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like completely unfortunate too in that case, because like this is like thing. It is like a person who like is traumatized. They need therapy.
Mm.
They need a lot of care. They like, even without the therapy, they just need like proper care and attention. And Silco may have been giving that, but who's to say if that was really like truly developmental and good for her, right? Because like she kills people. That isn't exactly like thing. That isn't exactly like some kind of like good leaning, right?
That's not healthy.
Yeah. So to touch on thing, Gabe was talking about like Silco's design, and I fully agree. Like when he had the overcoat on too. Yeah, the overcoat too with like the.
He's got the drip.
Yeah, Silco's got the drip.
He's very good at menacing without having to be big. Like when he goes into the room with the other, I don't know, like underlords, and he just intimidates them by just fucking gassing them, basically.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking sick as fuck. That was so cool.
That was.
You know what I love about that? About not that scene, but the next scene where he's being confronted by Finn. I fucking love that. Like he's talking to Finn and he's talking all tough about like loyalty and whatnot, while Sevika is behind him, and then Sevika goes for like the big slice and cuts Finn in half.
Mm-hmm.
That scene was, I literally didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, I didn't know who he was gonna kill.
And what I love is Silco's expression right after Finn dies, where he's like he didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen either.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't.
That's a good storytelling.
Yeah.
Tense.
I love like I love how the characters are animated in the show. There's so many like little
details.
Mannerisms, details like mannerisms and stuff in their facial expressions and movements. It's like, and that shit is so hard to do in animation, especially with the animation style that they've gone for. And it's
Going back to the scene though, I was kind of upset because when we first walked into that room and we saw, is that his name, Finn?
Yeah, Finn.
Interesting. And he was talking. I was like, look at this man. And he was like the last one that Silco approached. I was like, are they gonna fucking kill this hot Asian guy? And then they didn't. I was like, sweet, the hot Asian guy lives. And then they did it there. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I got juked out. Damn it.
That being said, too,
I think also like the first technical character death was a black cop. I was like, interesting choice.
I thought the first character deaths were Jinx's parents.
Oh my god.
Yes, I suppose that's true. Everyone on the bridge, but they're already dead. They're already dead when you get there. You don't watch them die.
That's true.
Yeah. Fucking okay.
I mean, he's right.
Yeah, that's why.
He's right, but he shouldn't say it.
I think, what is it? Like, we were talking earlier about like costume designs. I fucking love like the wardrobe for this show. Like, I want to talk about like just the presentation for everything now. Like, starting with the wardrobe. Jesus Christ, it is so visually stunning. Like everything, like Piltovers, like the Undercity, like the individual like costumes themselves, like the lighting and like the framing thing, like the framing of like how a lot of these look like. Oh my god, this is technically like one of the best like animated pieces of media I think I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, starting with the wardrobe, like Vi's look, not even comparing to like the original League of Legends design is badass as hell. Like kicking ass in just like in a jacket and like taped gloves. I always really love like the whole taped gloves thing. That being said, yeah, like the red jacket, the contrast between like that and the eventual like hex tech gauntlets that she would borrow, great, love that. Like Jinx's design too, like that definitely is a much better step up from what it was in in League. Like
Her fucking League outfit.
Yeah.
I want to punch whoever designed that.
Her which outfit?
In Jinx's League outfit.
Oh yeah.
It looks so bad.
Yeah.
It's very Harley, isn't it?
It's very Harley.
Harley.
Mm-hmm.
I like Harley Quinn, and it looks bad. Like,
it's Suicide Squad.
It is. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, girl, put on some clothes. That's not gonna save you from the explosions.
Mm-hmm. Like it was just inherently a thing. It was just like inherently designed for like the male gaze, and
like,
well, what I love about Jinx's costume design in Arcane, I mean, a lot of their cartoons, but like in comparing their costume designs, I love how like Jinx's costume design is so much more evocative of like the styles of clothing that people like actually wear in Piltover.
Mm-hmm.
Like I look at Jinx's design in the game, and it's like there's leather, there's like the pink fabric, there's I don't know, there's some shit, but like I look at Jinx's outfit in the thing in Arcane, and it's like this looks like it's some shit that like I see the other characters in Zon like wearing. Like this looks, it's very that's something I love about like this show, like with the fashion in it, is that it's also like consistent, and that's something I keep seeing in a lot of the game's designs, is that none of the characters seem to have like a very consistent fashion sense. But in Arcane, I can definitely tell that there's like a very sort of steampunky like fashion design. Maybe not like an over the top steampunk, but it's like very steampunkish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
And it's so consistent.
Jinx's outfit in the show looks like something you could actually like run. Like I'm looking at these little tiny booty shorts and this like bathing suit top that looks like it barely holds on. Like if she takes those bullets out of there, it's gonna start flopping up, I swear. Like also in like certain art of it, it just looks like she's wearing like an American flag on her chest.
Yeah.
And that's so good.
Major glow up in the show. I think her design looks great. It looks like at least slightly more practical, like
mm-hmm.
And it still has like a lot of character too.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so distinct, and it suits her really well.
Yeah.
I like the tattoos.
I don't think it's a coincidence that like in like the crossovers that like I hate to mention this game's cursed name, but in Fortnite in the league crossover with Fortnite, which I also don't play. I want to make it super clear. I want to make that super fucking clear. I don't play this game either. But they use the Arcane skin because it's just it's so much better skin.
It looks way better. Her original one is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I also just I love her all the zoom ins on her face where you can see all the little freckles on her nose.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the characters are so detailed.
Yeah. Speaking of detailed,
they also all have really unique nose shapes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I noticed that when I was watching, all of them have different noses, and it's you can tell who they are just by looking at their noses.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, speaking of detailed, all of the accessories that Mel wears.
Oh my god, yeah, the glitter,
her makeup
dress. I want her dress.
The fucking jewelry in her hair.
Yeah.
Just her hair in general.
Her hair in general. Listen, there's a reason she's the one that got me to watch the show.
The little gold dot in her eyeshadow.
In her makeup.
Yeah,
so cool. She looks amazing. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
her makeup prep in the morning must take like 7 hours, and the world is better for it.
I love her.
God.
She's like my favorite character, probably. That's not like Jinx.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I already talked about like how much I really liked Sevika's arm design. That is just inherently steampunk, and that's just sick as hell. I think the clear contrast between like early on in the first act, where it's like contrasting Vander and Silco. Like Silco always has like the nice suit and like a very like slicked back hair and stuff. Meanwhile, Vander is more like, the hair's a little bit messier. He wears like more common clothes. It's such a good contrast between like their values and just who they are as people. Like, it's really nice like visual storytelling.
Like, you want to talk about contrast and visual storytelling? Can we talk about how Mel Medarda meets Mom Medarda at the beginning? That was it. Mom Darda. And how like
she's not like a good character, but also like I kind of love her a little bit.
You want to talk about arms?
Yeah.
Go on, Gabe.
Ooh. I love
how half this episode is just us thirsting over different characters.
I love how like this 8 foot tall like bodybuilder Viking queen comes out of this ship, and like this character who we've known as nothing but like this, not nothing, but this character who like we've seen as like this very elegant, graceful leader in Piltover, and she's like, "Hey mom," and her mom's like, "Fuck you." Fuck you and all of your childhood trauma. Where's my twing?
I mean, that is exactly how it goes. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Mom has no memory of that traumatic childhood event.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But this. I remember hearing something once about like a character always changes, or like a character should always change when they're around their parents if they're not usually. And I think they did really well with that with Mel. Like her demeanor completely changes around her mother. And like she you see her in different ways throughout the show, obviously, because they're good about not having one note characters. But it's just like her mom walks in and it's like, there's the teenager in her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very good.
Mm-hmm. I think watching like the magic used in the show like also is like very visually cool. Like the first time that like when it, like those crystals that was like for like when Powder dropped it in the first one, when it was just like sparking all the time. Very nice attention to detail, and like how when it was refined, quote unquote, like just like little things like that are always like nice like attentions to detail. That being said too, like the weapons, like I'll give Jayce maybe one point of praise, and that's the hammer. That's a pretty it's pretty badass, not gonna lie.
I do also appreciate the scenes of him working in the forge. That's all I'll say.
Nothing else.
Just like when you see him working in the forge and he's not talking. Yeah. Like from the back.
He just needs to get the Howl treatment. Just shut up, take your shirt off, and be surrounded by steam. Come on.
Yeah. I'm so glad you agree.
As soon as he opens his mouth, it's like a nightmare. I mean, okay, as much as I adore the scene, and I do adore the scene between him and Silco, where they're just at that place by the near water.
Yeah.
And like I mean, I love shit in movies and TV shows where two characters are on opposing sides and they just fucking talk shit out. I mean, like, I feel like it's so much. I feel like especially so much easier. Just like it's like, okay, let's just have a fight scene because the fight scene is so much more entertaining. But like then you got scenes like that fucking scene where Jayce and Silco are just they're just fucking arguing with each other, and it's so fucking good. And I love character. I love that shit so much. That shit is my fucking sweet spot.
It's good. It doesn't happen often enough. Especially when you have like a character like Silco who's like good with words, walking around someone like Jayce who's like very politician, and they're like trying to like talk around each other. We need more scenes of people talking around each other. It's very good.
Yeah.
But Jayce, he doesn't even haggle.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing. He doesn't haggle. I love that scene, and I love how till the end, Jayce has no way.
It comes up like 3 times in the show that he doesn't haggle.
Yeah. He's a terrible negotiator. He has strong convictions, but those, I mean, he thinks he has strong convictions, but then like Silco shows up and Silco like he hits an extremely hard persuasion check and fucking destroys everything Jayce stands for.
I love that I've got you making D&D references and
yeah.
I've done it.
Accomplished their goal.
But and I love how like, because I mean that's like a peeve I have with a lot of I don't want to say modern sorts. I hate saying like modern movies and modern movie.
Notable movies or like big notable franchises.
Yeah, like is that there's just so many times that I've seen where characters like have a disagreement, and I feel like I'm watching a movie where I'm watching these full-grown adults, and I feel like this was written by fucking 13-year-olds, where I'm like, just fucking talk about it, just have a fucking conversation. And I love that this show does that. This show doesn't treat me like I'm a fucking stupid idiot.
Yeah, like I think you guys have already like hit the beats on this, but just like the fact that it shows like not just how skilled of a negotiator each of them are, but just like the fact that like I think with like a lot of what Arcane does really well is like setting up an expectation and then just immediately kind of like turning it on its heels, basically, because everyone like Jayce is like, I feel like in that scene Jayce was like underestimating this one guy from the Undercity, and like at the same time like this is fucking Silco that you're talking about, so he just out talks Jayce like in a heartbeat, like wonderful
just fucking
stuff.
destroys him.
Yeah. That being said, about like some of the action scenes in this series though, like I have to talk about the fucking bridge scene between Ekko and Jinx.
Yeah, all my
love that.
Sorry.
I adore that scene so much. Like, okay, Gabe, go ahead.
I was gonna say all my shit talking about how much shit in modern movies is solved by just action. The action in Arcane is also fucking sublime.
like that scene specifically, like apparently it uses like Ekko's ultimate from the game, and again I don't know anything about like the game, but like just that was so visually like stunning. Like I was kind of like in a series that had been like so musically like diverse at that point, like having rap just suddenly come out of nowhere, I was like, what is this? And then like as soon as I really want to talk about the music, because that's like that was one of the first things that I was like going on about when I was telling Brooke about it, but just like the fucking like as soon as like Ekko hits the stopwatch or like hits the pocket watch, and then it just goes into the like this amazing like spectacle of colors and like differences between like them playing like them as kids and like them now. Holy shit, that is so creative. I want more of that.
Well, I love I love how every action. I love how like I saw I didn't watch it, but like I saw on YouTube there was I thought the thumbnail for like it was like all action scenes in Arcane, and the video was like 20 minutes long, and I was like, wow, that feels short for a show that I remember having so much good action. And then like I thought about it for like a second, and I was like, oh yeah, no, there's not a lot of action in the show, but like when there is action, it's
They also like they know how to like not draw it out too much, you know? Like that's a big issue with a lot of shows. Like, I mean, like Marvel movies come to mind where they have like these fight scenes where they try to make them like big and flashy, and they just like cut everywhere and they like drag on, and you're like, we get it. Stop. No, in Arcane, they're exactly as long as they need to be and no longer.
And like they're super creative. Like I think it goes like the thing that I was talking about with like the flare scene where it's like a really simple idea. They're like, okay, so they're on this bridge. Ekko has to fight Jinx, and that's just a scene that like with less creative people could have really easily just been, oh, they fight, Ekko beats her up, the kablooey. But then some fucking genius in the writers' room was like, okay, but what if the fight is like this flashback sequence that is happening during the fight of like a game of that like draws comparison to a game that they used to play. I do wish we saw them playing that game. That's like my one thing that if there was like one thing that I wish we saw a scene of them actually playing that game as kids, because that would have like that would have felt like nice incorporation. But like that's a minor that's a very minor criticism. But like I like just like who fucking thought of that? Whose hand do I have to shake for fucking thinking of that shit?
Yeah. There have been how many
good.
like sorry.
It's so good too because we get that characterization for them, and it's like that they used to be friends and now they're fighting each other, and heartbreaking.
Like there have been how many like incredible like small moments in between each fight. Like what is it? I think like Sevika like revealing her like her arm when she first fought Vi. That was cool.
Great.
Like
you know what I love about that fight? Sorry.
Here, I'll just finish up. So as I mentioned before, like that moment where like Vi drops drops one of the gauntlets, drinks the glass, and then swings it right at Sevika. I think like the whole final scene where or in Act 1 where like you know Jinx deploys the monkey bomb. That whole thing was stunning. But yeah, Gabe, go ahead.
Sorry, I just remember I loved this in the first. I mean, this sort of happens in the second fight between Vi and Sevika, but they're more juiced up in that second fight. But like in that first fight between them, I love how much their fighting draws from like real martial arts shit. Like it would have been very easy to do like they have a big anime fight. They're throwing each other between walls and they're like having big cinematic movements. But I love how much of that fight is really focused on like on just like martial arts shit. There's real martial arts shit in this fight. It was fucking great. Like I can't think of a specific, but like if I watched it again I could point to something. But like yeah, there's so many good details in that fight between their fighting styles and between like the little movements and stuff.
Yeah,
it's good shit.
I love how like even though like Vi has been, I don't want to say outmatched, but just like there's a clear advantage with Sevika having the whole metal armament thing. Like Vi still just continues to kick her ass, which is fantastic. Like it tells me so much. And like Vi will kick your fucking ass, and that is sweet.
Well, Sevika has a metal arm, but Vi's got the fucking guns.
Vi almost died in the first fight.
True, yeah.
She did.
But I also think that's it. I never felt like Vi had like protagonist armor in the show.
Yeah.
No.
And yeah,
I didn't feel like any of them did, which is a really hard thing to do because like I know that this show is based on this video game, so I obviously went into it and I was like, okay, I can reasonably assume that none of the characters who are from the game will die.
Well, I wasn't expecting Silco to die.
Oh well, he's not from the game, so I was
It's
like,
not from
but
the
like,
game, yeah.
Well, I don't
which
know who's from the game and who's not. As far as
neither
I knew, the only
neither
ones
did I
I
until I
knew,
googled it.
the only ones I knew for sure who were from the game were Vi and Jinx, and that's it.
Mhm.
No one
Yeah.
else. I had no idea about anyone else.
What I liked about it though is like I knew I went to the show and I was like okay, I can assume with some reason that like Vi or Caitlyn or Ekko or Jinx, they won't die because they're from the game. But then like in the moment as I'm watching the show, I'm like, oh, this character could totally fucking die right now. Like the scene in the last episode when Jinx comes out with the bowl and she's like, I paid your girlfriend a visit. I was like, oh, Caitlyn's fucking dead.
Yeah.
I've never been more relieved to be wrong, but like Jesus Christ, like, and you know, it's a good thing when a show like that not only counteracts like plot armor, but it counteracts like adaptation armor. Even though they're still alive, but like I genuinely I was just like, oh, any of these characters could be fucking dead at any second, and I would not be like, I have genuine fear that these characters are gonna fucking die.
I agree. Yeah. Like even
And it takes some.
Go ahead.
It takes some good fucking writing to do that, especially when like none of the characters from the game die, but I was like, any of them could fucking die. That's some good fucking writing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my two friends who watched this show like pretty close together, as I was watching it, like I got to the part where Ekko was reintroduced and like after the like time jump or whatever, and I was texting my friend about it who had watched it like second of the three of us, and they were like, yeah, so our other friend who watched it first told me that he died, and I just believed it. So they didn't come back to the pleasant surprise.
When would you have died?
Like
He just died
in like between the past and the present, like in the time skip, yeah. Or like when
off screen, that would have been so sad.
That would have been so sad.
Yeah. Or like maybe it was like during that first like shimmer creature attack thing. But even then he was
he showed up afterwards.
He watched Benzo die, released Vi, and then he just disappears until the time jump.
Yeah.
But he was the one character actually when I first watched the show that I was like, oh fuck, that's Ekko. I know him from the game.
Yeah.
And then I was confused because like I'd seen one of the animations of him, and in that animation he was a kid. So when I saw him as like kid, and this one I was like, oh my god, he's like really young. But then they jumped ahead and he's supposed to be like older teenager, perhaps adult, and I was like, oh what? He's like 14 in the games. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He's 14 in the games?
He's pretty young in the games, but I guess he's supposed to be older. He just has a youthful complexion. Well, actually, that's what they all do. Apparently, there's some enforcer robot in the games who's 80, but she looks like she's honestly 30.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We love that.
That's what I love about Arcane, is actually all the older women just get to look like older women. Like, I loved Gracie so much. She was in there, and I was like, look at this gorgeous old woman. This is a gilf if I ever seen one.
I love her voice actor. I've seen that voice actor in like a bunch of other stuff. She has one of the most incredible voices.
As soon as I heard her voice, I was like, oh, I know who you are. I'm very happy.
I'm very stoked. Every time she's in something, I'm like, this is gonna be like a wonder to my fucking ears.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, the voice acting in this series, like Haley Steinfeld did such a good job as Vi. Like it's kind of hard. It was hard for me, jokingly, it was kind of hard for like both Mari and I to not like to watch Hawkeye and not just see Haley Steinfeld as Vi the entire time.
Haley Steinfeld?
Yeah, Vi was voiced by Haley Steinfeld.
Huh.
Yeah. So, like, that being said, like, Jinx's voice actor definitely, like, top-notch, like, really good job.
I genuinely think Ella Purnell needs to win something.
I agree.
I don't know what. I don't know what the award for voice acting is, but she needs to win something. It's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm. Like Silco's voice actor too. Like he's been getting a lot of like good recognition on TikTok, and
I was gonna
rightfully
say,
so.
He's just kind of like creeping on everyone. He's watching. Jason's watching.
Fucking Jayce.
Yeah.
Not Jayce, just Jason. He's watching. Jason is Silco's voice actor.
Okay.
But he knows all the content. Like he's on the platforms. He sees what people are posting about him.
Mm-hmm.
So don't simp. He'll be watching.
Who voiced Heimerdinger? They did a really good job doing that.
Yeah, who did voice the Donger?
Jayce, my boy.
Can you stop calling him that?
What, calling him the Donger?
Yeah.
But I like calling it that.
Stop. Stop making that.
He's voiced by a guy named Mick Wingert. I think this might be the game. I don't know if this is in the show.
Yeah.
Or this could just be. Is this? What is he?
Yeah.
He is voiced by a guy named. No, he's not in the. Hang on, I can't find it.
Not... like
that was insightful.
Yeah. Like some of my other favorite voice performances, like Viktor's, Mel's.
You're just gonna list everyone in the fucking show.
Silco's,
yeah. I mean, like I wasn't gonna list everyone. Vander's is all right. I like Vander's character, but like I didn't really expect much.
Hello, Daddy Vander. Continue.
Yeah, Vi and Jinx'd, obviously I said. I think like even just some of the the background characters. I really enjoyed like that one counselor member that was a robot. He like his presence was always like, oh shit, I have to fucking listen to what he's saying. Yeah, no, like this was a really high quality show. Like I'm really like, I don't care how much money they used their budget like effectively. Like good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the budget, like some quick praise to the soundtrack. I fucking adore that soundtrack.
I love that they got fucking Sting for the song at the very end.
Yeah. Like
I'm confused when everyone was talking about Sting. I was like, Sting was in that? And then I saw it and I was like, ha ha ha.
I don't know who Sting is.
Famous.
That doesn't help.
He's from the Police.
Oh.
He was in the B movie.
Oh yeah, the one movie that they never finished because it was just too uncomfortable for them.
What?
I remember they said that on a podcast.
I couldn't watch that fucking movie.
Oh.
It's too weird.
Well, Sting is in it as himself, and Jerry Seinfeld confronts him for naming himself Sting.
Okay, but yeah, like Sting on the soundtrack, that was a really nice addition. Like when Gabe was starting to freak out about it, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Really? Sting? But like there's some really, like the first song, like going into the Undercity 2, I think it's called Playground. Yeah, really nice, like for setting the mood and stuff. For like the Undercity. I obviously can't play any of it. You know what? Here, I'm going to, like Dynasties and Dystopia. That's a
Underground Utopia, Dynasties and Dystopias.
Yeah. Thank you, Brooke.
You're welcome.
Snakes, by Paris and Miyavi. That was a good one. So that's at the point when I think Vi first acquires her Hex Tech gauntlets, and they're just beating up a whole bunch of people, and then a child dies.
Jesus, nonchalant.
I actually really like the opening song too. Not gonna lie.
Imagine Dragons.
Yeah. Good pop.
Yeah.
I'll give it. I'll praise it. I love how they animated it. I love how they fucking animated Imagine Dragons into the thing for the theme. That was so great.
I didn't notice that. I just
Other people hated that.
I hated it at first because I don't listen to Imagine Dragons that much anymore. But at the same time, I'm like, God, this is just so silly. I really enjoy that. That was just like a nice point of silliness.
But they already had the models for the music video, so like, why not just put them into the show?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, at this point, no one can use Imagine Dragons worse than Riverdale, so...
I don't actually understand the hate around Imagine Dragons, but we're not here for Imagine Dragons.
Why don't people like them?
I think I've told you guys, I don't like Imagine Dragons anymore because it was all that I was listening to at one point, so I kind of like, I don't know, I burnt myself out from Imagine Dragons. So there's my reasoning.
That's
fair enough.
I hate Imagine Dragons.
Why?
Well, okay. I'm not. I mean, I don't want to get into you guys have expressed the Imagine Dragons. I don't want to be a dick.
I'm just curious.
I think they sound bad.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
It's not that deep. I just don't think.
They're
not
just
a fan of their music.
Not for you.
Yeah.
That's fair. I was just curious because I feel like a lot of people really hate them now, and I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, they had their peak period, like with I think Radioactive, and then lately, just for me, some of their songs were just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, they kind of peak a lot. They had like Radioactive, and they had Thunder, and they had Enemy. I mean, everyone fucking loved Enemy now.
Yeah.
I can't. I like Thunder, but I can't listen to it without thinking about that stupid scene from Riverdale.
Oh.
Oh God! I know what I'm gonna think. I know what I'm gonna search up at some point. Just be like, Riverdale Thunder scene.
It's a sex scene.
Oh, never mind. No.
Like I said, no one can use Imagine Dragons worse than Riverdale.
Oh my God! If I ever decide to put myself through watching even at least a season of Riverdale, we're gonna do a Riverdale episode on the podcast soon.
We can do it. I will rewatch all of Riverdale and then just summarize it myself, and that can be
can you do a PowerPoint presentation like how Gabe did?
I was about to say, Gabe gets his Metal Gear thing, Alex gets to do Riverdale, and I get to do FNAF.
I was gonna...
Yes!
Please, that'd be fantastic.
I can do it. It will have to wait till after this semester, but I will do it.
Yeah.
Me too.
The next season
fun.
of the podcast is just PowerPoint. Oh my God. Speaking of which, as a small plug, next week's episode is Gabe's Metal Gear episode. Check that out. Yeah, what else can we talk about Arcane? Like they're the obvious like connections to the game. And like what I think Brooke is maybe
lots
like
of Easter eggs. Yes.
Yeah, Brooke is maybe like the only person between us four who's put serious time into
actually
it.
plays this game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she didn't for like a while because like she said to me that like it was because of the toxicity, which is like totally fair.
Yeah, it's awful. Bad community.
Yeah. And I mean, that's maybe like the biggest contrast like between League and Arcane. Like everyone fucking hates League, but also everyone loves Arcane.
Arcane, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
good. League is not.
Yeah.
I don't. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Arcane actually had to jump like a massive hurdle because it was a League show.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like everyone who heard about it was like, I'm not gonna fucking watch a League of Legends show. And you had to be like, listen, it's not League of Legends. It's based on it. You don't have to know anything about it. Just watch it. It's a good show. My brother fucking refuses to, because I was trying to recommend it to him. He's like, well, what's it about? And I immediately was like, okay, well, listen, it's a League game. He's like, oh, I'm not gonna fucking watch it ever then. I'm like, no, please, listen.
Yeah. And that's just because like League is so memed in the community as being like fucking awful. Which
It is awful.
Yeah, like I don't know. I haven't put like enough or any like time into the game itself. Like it's League of Legends, but like it's maybe just like the community that people are just so turned off by, which I mean totally fair.
And the fucking male gazy art character designs that look horrible.
Yeah, there are loads of things, but Arcane is just like it's one of like going back to what we were talking about like a lot earlier. Like Riot's marketing team is fucking amazing. Like not just with like League itself, but like a lot of what their independent projects. Like I think for me, the one thing that like always fascinated me about League lore were their cinematics, like particularly like their what is it there? I think it was their Awaken trailer where it was announcing like the upcoming season of the game, and just watching all of that like just gorgeous animation like on full display was like, man, this is all for fucking League.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cinematics were one thing, but like KDA was like, dude, this is too much. What the hell is Riot becoming? Because they had like they pulled in like G-Idol, which is like at the time one of my favorite girl groups in K-pop, and that's a big name. Like they're a pretty big name, and like the music that they made at the time, like the first song Pop Stars and then the subsequent album was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember like sending like when like in the lead up to the album like coming out, like Alex and I were just sending memes to each other about like, holy shit, here's everyone.
I mean, they also the character like the what are they called, skins or whatever for KDA.
Mm-hmm.
Praise whoever designed them, because holy fuck, like they look so good.
Mm-hmm. And like that's the whole thing too. They do all of that marketing just for the skins that you get in the game to play League. Which
I'm
is
not
like
gonna play League. I'm just gonna get posters of them and put them on my wall.
Oh my god. Like it's so thing. I love when like a brand recognizes their own creativity and kind of just does whatever with it. Like it's what makes like Mario games so fun. It's like, you know, everyone knows what Mario is, but there's like Mario Party, Mario Galaxy, like a whole bunch of like creativity with just Mario Kart. Like there's so much creativity that you can do with just a single franchise. And like Riot embracing that, like not just by doing like big epic cinematic trailers, but like completely independent, like not completely independent, but just like pseudo related back to League, like Arcane and KDA. Yes, I like that is so cool to see. And it still baffles my mind that it's all centered back to League. Like, oh my god. I know nothing about I know next to nothing about like the extensive like canon within League, but just when they explore like other areas of the planet in Arcane, I'm so excited. Because like, and even if they decide to do like spin-off shows in the exact same kind of style that they did with Arcane, they have so many characters. I think it's like what, 150 plus champions now?
I want
140 it says.
They have 140 champions?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? I thought it was like maybe 50.
Oh, honey, no.
Dude.
That's why, that's another reason I quit, was because there's just so many champions to learn. Like, you have to know so much shit about these games. Like, you have to know your character, their base stats, what items you can apply to them, who's on your team, who you go best by, who you can face off against on the other team, what each opponent against you would do, what items against them will work best. It's fucking ridiculous. And there's 140.
Yeah.
That was too much. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Mm-hmm. This shit's hard.
Alex, what were you saying? Sorry.
I just want something with Seraphine. That's her name, right? Seraphine?
Yeah.
Seraphine, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Her design is very cute.
A YouTube vlog series. Potentially. Or even just like like even just like Arcane related specifically, like I want them to explore like the rest of the thing, like the rest of the world, obviously, and like, you know, go in with like a whole bunch of other characters and stuff.
There's a shit ton.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of glad that they narrowed it down to like such a small set with like these what 8 champions in just Piltover and so on, because it's a massive goddamn world.
Yeah, and I mean like focusing your thing on like sibling conflict. That's thing like conflict like conflict, like your main tension in the story being like the sibling conflict between Vi and Jinx. That's such a good anchor for the story. I really like that.
Yes.
That being said, if I doubt that Riot would just stop making or like stop updating League, because it's still like their biggest like moneymaker right now. But at the same time, like if they decided to just like not update League for a while and just work with Netflix to produce more series that are as up to quality as Arcane was, oh my god. Like the thing is, like, it's so interesting, the dichotomy that like Riot is known for. Like they're known as the company that produced Valorant and League of Legends, but they also gave the world KDA and Arcane. What the fuck? Yeah. Didn't have anything else to kind of like talk about with that. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about when it comes to Arcane? Because we talked... because we touched on like the characters, the aesthetics, some of the more technical stuff, so like the music, the style, and then like comparing it to League. Yeah, anything else?
Sounds like a no to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. I have one final thing actually. If we don't have any other ideas, what are we looking forward to in season 2?
The evolutions.
Caitlyn's dead mom.
Hush.
Oh God, Gabe.
Okay, on the real, that is actually something I'm very much looking forward to, a resolution to that fucking cliffhanger.
Yeah.
If Mel is dead, I don't know.
I don't think they could.
I don't think they can kill. I don't think they can kill Mel. You can't kill an icon. You can't kill an icon.
I can't kill the girl boss.
Something significant about like her back piece shining. I was like, she'll be okay.
Yeah. Everyone else can be dead. That's fine. Just...
I mean, they can't kill everyone in that room because we have champions in there. We know they won't die.
I mean, I'd be fine if Jayce died, but like...
Everyone would be fine if Jayce died. Just...
He's gonna keep going.
Maybe he might embrace like the whole the entire world hates me. You know what? Then maybe you know what? If he's gonna do that, more power to him. I think he's just gonna. He's just gonna become more insufferable.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think I literally ever saw a Jayce champion while I was playing in League.
No,
I don't think so either. That's the thing.
I didn't know he was a guy, and I have a lot of. I've seen quite a few League characters because my brother is a huge League of Legends fan, and he has literally never said a word about Jayce.
Yeah, he's very insignificant in the grand scheme of all of these.
I know of some guy named Yasuo. He's not even in the show. I know of him because my brother has a
Yasuo and Yone.
tattoo of that guy.
A tattoo of him?
He has a tattoo. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's in deep.
He's in deep. I'm scared for him.
You need to get Yone.
Jay, if you hear this, I'm not talking shit on you.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess this is like a samurai type character.
Yasuo and Yone are brothers that are samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to talking about season 2. I want to see because I think now like the main, I think like the three more prominent characters, Vi, Caitlyn, and Jinx. I want to see how like that kind of like how that dynamic between each of those characters like influences the next season, because there are a lot of ramifications for each. Like it's like that cliffhanger of an ending sets up so much for each of those characters. Like it sets up like a potential, like a really hella interesting arc for all of them. Oh fuck, it's gonna be so cool.
Well, what I'm really looking forward to is, 'cause I have this in my document of shit on, but like what I loved about the world building in this show is that it's sort of like running adjacent to what I loved about how it focused on just the characters that matter in like Act 1. If this is like a season 1 of a show that's going to go on for a while, I really like how for season 1 it was like all Piltover and Zon.
Mhm.
But I know that there is actually like a bigger world going on here, because I've heard of it. But like I like how right in the tail end of season 1 we had Mom Darda show up with Noxus. That Noxus is like a thing that just also exists. So I'm kind I mean like I'm kind of curious to see how that might factor into like the future of the show, how like these other like if this whole thing might like blow up into a more like a bigger story. I'd love to see how like all these different how these new cultures and these new like countries figure into the story. That'd be great.
And I mean, like, even if they don't do it within like under the name of Arcane, like as a launching pad for potential franchises, like I agree. Like they set up like quite a lot of intrigue with not just with like their core characters, but like with the world in general. Like the whole, using magic to like access parts of the world that they never thought possible. Like that opens up a whole lot of potential for like expanding stories, which I think would be like awesome to like delve into, and like maybe not in like season 2, but like in either future seasons or in just separate series. I think another thing that I'm looking forward to with like I think like leagues like Riot's creativity and like Netflix's creativity respectively for this series has been like incredible this first season, so I'm really looking forward to see like what they do with like the next one, because it was like in 2021 and like early in recent times where like animation has been like stellar with like Spider-Verse, Mitchell versus the Machines, and a lot of like recent like some Disney movies too. Like animation is so stunning to look at, and like Arcane is like it has.
What I love about Arcane, is that this is a show that's gonna stay on the fucking some time, because like I see a lot of CGI animation. And like, there's a lot of stuff, especially like some of the stuff that Disney makes recently, where I'm like, I think this looks amazing, but I know that like 10 years down the line, I'm gonna think this it will have not aged well at all. And I feel like Arcane, that's not gonna happen with Arcane, because Arcane it blends like 2D animation and 3D animation really really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very stylized.
It's very sad. I love cell shaded animation never goes bad. Is what I've noticed with animation.
Absolutely, yeah. Is that it? Anything else? Anything else? No?
That's all for me.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Brooke, any last minute things?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, so yeah, there's none for me too. So yeah, I think we'll start wrapping up. So for everyone listening, thanks for listening. This has been the first episode of season 6. And if you're new here joining us, or whether you're returning, like, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please like interact with us either on YouTube or Spotify or our social media to let us know what you think. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to stay connected with us, we are the Ink Guild on YouTube, the InkGuild Podcast on Spotify. You can catch all of us. All of us individually as well as collectively as the Ink Guild on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. We have a Wix site where you can access all of that from our TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter to videos that we've created, our full catalog, our full list of cataloged videos, our respective social media pages. We have a Tumblr now thing too because of Marie-Soleil. She's the one running it, so please go give that a follow. As well, we are all very excited for this new season, and with the new format and everything, it gives us all plenty of time to be more expressive and be very creative with like how we do these podcasts. It's been including this episode, 61 episodes of just like a bunch of amateur writers like in the world of multimedia, and it's a fun way of doing that. So that being said, because this is the first season, and as a closing segment, or like the first season, this is the first episode to the new season. As a closing segment, what are some episodes that we're all excited to do this season? So if I may start, I am definitely excited for next week's episode. Episode 64 I'm excited for. Episode 66 I'm excited for. Episode 70 I'm hella excited for. And yeah. So for me, I'm excited for next week's episode, as well as episode 64, episode 66, and episode 70.
Episode 7?
70. Did I say 7?
It sure sounded like it, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I mean episode 70.
I'm also excited for episodes 64, 66, and 70. Also, episode 72 will be very funny.
I'm very stoked for episode 69 and 72. Those are gonna be some fun ones.
Brooke, how about you?
A lot of them. Any of them that I'm in, I'm excited for.
I think
that's my honest answer.
Yeah, no, same. So
I think I looked at this and I think it's a pretty cool thing for me to think about, but I'm only hosting a third of these of the podcast episodes this season, and that's so cool to think about, because it's you guys are having your own episodes. That's so fucking cool. And I get to think because I don't ever tell you guys how to edit it. It's just so cool seeing what you guys come up with. It's so sweet. I think because I know I won't mention which episodes people are hosting and stuff, but just I'm really excited for I'm really excited for next week's episode, because I'll mention it a little bit. That's hosted by Gabe. Episode 70, that's hosted by Alex. Episode 64 is also hosted by Alex. Episode 67, I'm wanting Brooke to host that one, because I she's more familiar with it than I am. So if she's comfortable with it by the time, or like when the time comes, then like, you know, obviously. But yeah, just this is going to be such a good season. And I say that like pretty much every time, but like just it's going to be so cool. And like the new format of one episode a week should give us plenty of time to like, you know, plan out and like have good discussions. I mean, you know, upload wise, like for all of us here, we still record these episodes 2 days out of the week. So yeah, but otherwise, yeah, there's a lot of like really exciting stuff for season 6. So for everyone listening, I hope that you are going to be sticking with us through it all. That being said, with nothing more to say, we're going to be signing off for tonight. So thanks everybody for listening in, and have a good night. Have a good morning, evening, night, or whenever you're listening to these. I have to come up with like a better outro. Anyway, bye.
Have a good life.
Have a good existence.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.